Good morning, everyone. Another hopefully quick video, unedited, so please bear with me with respect to any mistakes that I make. I wanted to talk very quickly about my earnings for last week. My earnings for last week were probably in the space of a year and 8 months or so now, has been my highest earning week, aside from the first week that I worked driving for Uber and Lyft, and that included a bonus. I will tell you that the surge means nothing to me, whether it's multiplier or flat rate. I don't drive and make the type of numbers that you're going to see here based on the surge. The promotions, the quests, none of those things matter to me. I don't participate in any of those. If I happen to fall into that, so be it. The criteria that I drive when I talk about driving strategically is not based on the surge. It's based on the type of day, the platform that I'm operating on, since I can operate on everything from X all the way up to premium and or premium SUV. On the Lyft side, Lux, of course, XL, all of those platforms I can operate on. That being said, I've recently heard, and I've been hearing, that there's a lot of controversy with respect to the surge, and people are going to stop driving because it's a flat rate now rather than a multiplier. And I know that every market is different. But in the week of February 11th through the 18th, driving for Lyft alone, I made $954.31. This is not in New York City. This is in the New York City suburbs. This is in Westchester, okay? I did a total of 19 trips. I worked 26 hours, 36 minutes. I'll point out my payout for last week, $735. Just so you know, my math is consistent. I average about $700 a week because I choose to work a number of hours that gets me to that point. Some weeks I'll work 25 hours. Some weeks I'll work, and let me take that back. Some weeks I'm online for 25 hours. Some weeks I'm online for less. The point is, I monitor my income so that I don't go over a certain amount for specific reasons of my own. During that course of time, February 11th through the 17th or 18th rather, I did 3 trips for Lyft. As you can see, I made over $100. So you can do the math, you can add them up. I was online for a little over an hour. I'll say 2 hours with respect to the 3 trips that you see here, Lyft-wise. So if you do the math, that's a little over $1,000. On the high end, let's say 28 hours online. Of that 28 hours online, I could easily take 5 or 6 hours off that with respect to my downtime, just waiting for the next call. Because I operate on the higher platforms, I get less frequent trips, but of course the trips that I do get pay a little bit more. What I wanted to show you is the breakdown of those trips on Uber. As you can see in Lyft, there was no bonuses, there was no prime time attributed to any of those trips. All right. Same thing when it came to, actually, let me do it from the beginning of the week to the end of the week. So this is the starting of the week, February 11th. And you'll see there's 1 trip in there that has a boost. Continuing on with the week. No surge, no boost. All the way through the 17th. No boost, no surge. My point is the surge even relevant? For those of us who's operating on the higher platforms, when you see the heat map go red, does that even apply to us? Why? Because I don't see any more trips coming in for premium SUV or XLs compared to friends of mine who I know are operating on the X platform. When that map goes red, it usually applies to the lower tier platforms. It doesn't apply to us. The amount of money that I made was completely outside of the scope of Surge or Boost. And quite honestly, when I drive strategically, like I hear everybody talk about, they're talking about driving around the Surge to make their money. I do the exact opposite. I could care less whether there's a surge going on. I could care less whether there's a boost going on, because the average day, I won't catch it. And even if I catch one trip via surge or boost, by the time I drop off in Manhattan with the traffic and I get back, that surge is done, been done. So to me, I could care less. I don't go by promotions. I don't use that to make my money. I make my money off of my trips, the higher platforms that I operate on, and tips. And you could see of those 19, probably got about 5 or 6 inline tips. And I can tell you, I got a lot more cash-wise than what that reflects. So with all of that being said, I wanted to address that issue. Number one, is the surge even relevant? At least here in New York City suburbs market. I know to other people that's what they're using to make their money up. Number two, are you going to stop driving just because they changed the surge from a multiplier to a flat rate? Because I've seen major Uber tubers now talk about the fact that they're still making a decent amount of money, even though the surge is now on a flat rate as opposed to a multiplier. And on the converse to that, I hear some major Uber tubers saying that once it changes from multiplier to flat rate, that's it, it's a wrap. I'd like to know what you think about it. Feel free to comment, like, subscribe. In the description below, you'll see a link to my website. You can contact me there. We can talk about whether or not driving for Uber or Lyft or the new company coming out makes sense for you. Until the next time, stay frosty. I'm out.